Out on the water, not catching and second guessing every bait that you have? Well, that was me until after years of professional fishing taught me that most bait advice out there is nothing more than recycled garbage from old blog posts. So in this video, I'll show you how I help my clients catch a ton more fish with the only 5 baits that you need to know for white perch fishing. Now, before we dive into the baits themselves, let's first talk about the system I use to pick the best perch baits for every trip. And the same process that we're gonna use to rank my top 5 perch baits today. So here's how it works. For each bait, I'll score it on 5 different factors. Does it stay on the hook? Does it produce scent for a long period of time? How expensive is it? How easy is it to use? And most importantly, how effective is it at actually catching fish? So now what you'll see is a bar graph for each bait, showing how it stacks up in every single category. If a bait scores at least 4 bars above the middle line, it's a top tier pick. And at the end of this video, I'm going to show you my #1 pick based off of this system. So this way, you'll know exactly why each bait ranks where it does, and you'll also have a system that you can use for your own fishing, no matter the fish or no matter where you might be fishing at. So it's a win-win all the way around here, fish lots. So number 5 on our list is gonna be cut bait or cut fish and live minnows. Now, these can be great for catching a wide variety of fish, but for white perch, they have some pretty big drawbacks that we're gonna cover. Now, sure, both stay on the hook very well, and they do give off a lot of scent, which is an attractant for the fish, but here's the catch. White perch are small predators, so you do have to cut your bait pretty small in order to get them on the hook, and live bait can be hard to keep alive all day and maintain, plus they cost a little bit as well. So using live bait means hauling around extra aerators and buckets or fish buckets that you throw over the side of the boat, and you have to monitor the fish all day. Let me know in the comments below if you ever had a fish bucket over the side of the boat. You had to go move spots, you forgot about that thing, and the bait bucket's going like as you're moving spots, and you're just beating your bait all the heck, and you just waste a lot of money by killing your bait. So if your live minnows die, you've basically wasted your money and your time getting them, and they're not going to be effective for fishing. Now, the alternative is catching your own bait, like with a cast net, and that will save you a lot of money, but that will take a lot of time, and it's still hard to keep that bait alive during the course of the day. Now, cut bait works for perch as well, but it's hard to prepare because, again, perch are small, and if you use too big of a bait or big chunks of bait, you're gonna end up missing a lot of fish and a lot of bites. Plus, for perch, there are gonna be a lot easier and more effective baits out there that we're gonna cover in this video. That's why in our ranking system, cut bait and live minnows are gonna score high for scent and staying on the hook, but they're gonna score a lot lower for ease of use, money, and overall effectiveness for catching your white perch. Now, if you're targeting other fish like big catfish, bluefish, striped bass, even largemouth bass, crappie, these type of fish, live minnows and cut bait can rank much higher. But for white perch, there's gonna be far more effective baits out there, which brings us to our next one, number 4. Now, number 4 is gonna be a great one because it's gonna be pretty controversial, I already know it. Now, number 4 is gonna be cheddar crabs. That's right. These are legendary baits for lots of different fish. Everything out there will eat a cheddar crab, and that is its biggest disadvantage, is that everything out there is going to eat a cheddar crab, not just your perch. So that includes like tiny crabs, tiny minnows, tiny little fish, baby fish, especially if you're fishing in marsh systems like I like to fish. That is literally a sanctuary for every kind of small and baby little fish out there, and they're going to rip those shredder crabs right off that hook. So here's how it works. When a crab molts or sheds its hard shell as it's growing, it becomes super soft and full of scent. It's irresistible to fish, but that softness means that it's going to fall off the hook easily, especially with small hooks for perch and a lot of little baby fish around, or basically anything around that's going to eat it. So you have to be careful when you're baiting it, or the first fish that swims by and takes a look at the cheddar crab is going to knock it off the hook. Heck, even a strong current may actually blow that thing off the hook. Cheddar crabs are also a little bit more expensive since catching them at just the right time takes a lot of effort and care. And because they're so mushy, they can be a little bit tricky to bait, and you're going to spend a lot of your time rebaiting your hooks than actually efficiently fishing. So while shedder crabs are going to score really high for scent and attracting fish, they're going to score a little bit lower out there for staying on the hook, for ease of use, and for cost. So for white perch fishing, they absolutely work, but there's going to be other baits out there that are going to be easier and more efficient to use, and therefore shedder crabs are going to rank number 4 on our system. If you love these strategies and processes like I'm sharing here that could super simplify your fishing so you can catch boatloads more fish, go ahead and click on the link below where you could actually jump on a one-on-one discovery call with yours truly, Johnny Fish-A-Lot, and I could see if I could help you catch even more fish. I've gotten huge results for clients in the past, and I want to get huge results for you as well. So go ahead and check out the link. I hope to talk to you soon. So number 3 on the list is actually going to be power baits and power worms. That's right. This might be a little controversial. Let me know in the comments below if you would rank shedder crabs above power baits and power worms, but this is why they rank number 3 on this list using my system. Power baits and power worms are artificial scented soft plastics that mimic natural baits. They're a great choice when fish are a bit more aggressive and are willing to hit something that doesn't smell as strong as cut bait or shedder crabs. The advantage is you can keep these baits in the strike zone a lot longer, which allows your bigger fish, your bigger perch, to come in and find them while little fish can't shake them off the hook as easily. So you're more likely to catch bigger fish using these baits. Additionally, they rank number 3 above shedder crabs and cut baits because they're just so easy to use. You put one on the hook and you're ready to go, and you're ready to go for a longer period of time. They're also durable and convenient. They last a long time. They're cheap. They're easy to use. You can find them anywhere. You don't have to worry about refrigerating them, cutting them, or keeping them alive. They're just in a bag. You reseal them up when you're done, and you're ready to go for your next trip. Now, a couple of the disadvantages of power baits is that while they do give off a lot of scent and some good scent, it's just not as potent as your natural baits like shedder crabs or cut bait. They do work best when fish are a little more aggressive. They can still get shaken off the hook, and if the fish are finicky or want that stronger scent, oftentimes natural baits will outfish them. That's why they don't have a higher ranking for white perch, but they are a fantastic, easy to use option for most anglers, and they're super convenient, which means that they rank number 3. So bait number 2 here that I absolutely love might surprise a few of you, but those of you that watch the channel know that I use this next bait for everything, every type of fish in every environment, from the dock, the kayak, the beach. I fish with my kids. I fish with it by myself. You name it, you can catch it with this next bait. And of course, I'm talking about fish bites. Fish bites are a very soft scented bait that go on your hook and just stay on your hook. See that mesh right there? That's why this sticks on so well. You can't get that off because of that mesh. Look at that. It's hard to even bait up initially, and there you go. So there's your baits. You literally cannot get this thing off your hook. As a matter of fact, when you're done fishing, a lot of times you'll notice you'll need a pair of scissors to go ahead and cut the stuff off your hook just so you could store your hooks and get rid of the bait. Now, to show you the effectiveness of fish bites, a neighbor of mine loves to fish, and he was going on vacation in North Carolina. He says, "John, I really don't know what to use for bait. What do I do to catch a fish down there?" I said, "Well, what are you trying to fit? Like, how are you trying to fish?" He said, "Well, I'm going to the beach. I just want to sit there. I want to throw a rod in, and I want to catch a fish." I said, "Perfect. You need to get yourself a couple of hooks and fish bites. Put a chunk of fish bite on a hook, throw it out there, and enjoy." That's exactly what he did. Okay, he had his bait in the strike zone for a very long time, giving scent, because those little fish and crabs could not rip the bait off the hooks, and whammo, caught himself a 35-pound black drumfish. Was a hero on the beach. Thought himself was a hero. He never caught a fish so big he came back, he couldn't thank me enough. Up and down thanking me. He had no idea how or where to fish. That is the advantage of fish bites. They stay on the hook for a long period of time. They give scent for a long period of time. They allow those bigger fish to find your hooks so that you can catch fish when there's a bunch of little stuff around looking to steal your bait, like we discussed with shedder crabs or even cut bait or live minnows. So for beginners where you're not really sure what to use for bait, fish bites can be an absolute go-to. They're just so easy. You can buy them anywhere. They stay for forever in those little bags. I've actually had fish bites a year and a half, and I fished with them the next season, and they were still catching fish. So they stay good. No need to refrigerate them. No need to prep them or do anything with them. You just cut them, put them on the hook, and enjoy catching fish. And they're such a versatile bait. They come in all sorts of different flavors, like bloodworm and clam and bait fish, and you name it, it comes for it. It can fish for any fish in any environment, and it's perfect whether you're a beginner or you're a pro. It's just so efficient to fish with fish bites. So on our ranking system, fish bites is going to score the absolute highest out of anything on this list for staying on the hook and ease of use. juice. It is very heavily scented, so it's going to score some major points there. And it's effective, it's affordable, and it really takes the guesswork out of your bait selection for fishing, which is why it ranks so highly. So if you want a bait that's reliable and catches literally everything, it's hard to overlook fish bites. All right, now my number one bait that you just cannot beat. It's my absolute go-to. I probably fish with this bait more than anything else when it comes to white perch fishing, as well as a variety of other fish. And of course, we're talking about bloodworms. You got to love bloodworms. They are basically the bacon of the fishing world, but unlike shedder crabs, they don't fall off the hook nearly as easily. I'm gonna get this out of the way. The one area where bloodworm suffers a little bit in my ranking criteria is the price. Nowadays, for some reason, bloodworms are just so expensive. You're looking at upwards of $30 for 12 bloodworms, some big old jumbos, right? The big bloodworms that you really want to use for bait. So $30 is a little expensive, but the efficiency and the effectiveness of using bloodworms to catch all sorts of big fish just cannot be overlooked for my number one top selection here. So now bloodworms really do stay on the hook pretty well. They're not going to stay on the hook as well as fish bites, but if you know how to bait them right, the fish really has to commit to the hook in order to get your bait. The problem is a lot of people, they'll bait their bloodworms on and just glob them on the hook. You don't want to do that because fish could grab the ends of it and shake them off. What you want to do is bait them just right on the hook so that if the fish wants to grab the bloodworm, they're going to get a hook. The other thing you could do, my favorite tactic with bloodworm fishing, is to get it to shoot its mouth out. Okay, bloodworms are the only venomous worm on the planet, okay, and they're great for fish bait. So what I like to do is I like to antagonize a bloodworm to come out and try to bite me, and when it shoots its mouth out to try to bite me, I usually hook that on the hook. That is the toughest piece and bloodiest piece of the bloodworm, and it is fabulous for catching fish. You could catch 3, 4, 5 fish off that same piece of bait, and it will stay on the hook. So when it shoots its mouth out, you hook it, chop off the head, bait it on there, you are good to go. And they're an incredibly versatile bait as well. You could use little pieces of bloodworm to catch fish like white perch, or you could use bigger chunks of bloodworm to catch bigger fish. And of course, they're incredibly easy to use. They're just a worm. At the end of the day, who hasn't started their fishing with worms typically, right? Now, the other huge advantage of bloodworms is that they stay pretty well. For a live bait, you could keep them in your refrigerator for a week or 2 weeks at a time. Here's a quick tip if you want to store your bloodworms. Take paper towels, put it on the top of the grass that comes with the bloodworms, and take paper towels and put it on the bottom. This way, when those bloodworms sweat, sweating is what we call it when they're releasing urine or ammonia from their bodies, right? That's how they expel, waste, just like we do. Okay, the paper towels will absorb that instead of sitting on the bloodworms, and they'll usually, their sweat, as we call it, kill the worms. So if you just take 2 paper towels, put them on either end of the grass, and put them in the refrigerator, you're talking about 2 solid weeks of bloodworms staying alive in your fridge. You don't have to mess with them, you don't have to monitor them, you don't have to feed them, you don't have to do anything. No aerators, no buckets. They actually stay very well for the best fish bait that you could possibly get. So they're gonna score really high on ease of use and keeping them alive, unlike your live minnows and some of the other things that we talked about. So in our ranking system, bloodworms are going to score the absolute highest for the efficiency in which they catch fish and attract fish to your bait. They do stay on the hook. They are easy to use. It's a worm after all, and they stay when you put them in the refrigerator up to 2 weeks, potentially, if you package them just right, like I told you about. The only disadvantage with a bloodworm is that they are pricey. $30 for 12 bloodworms is not to thumb your nose at, but it's well worth it when you think about how much fish these bloodworms really do catch. Now, all the tips and all the baits that we just discussed in this video won't catch you a fish at all if you don't know this one very important thing, and that is key areas to actually find and look for your fish, whether that's white perch or any other species of fish. So go ahead and click on this video right here where I help you identify the exact areas you should be looking for so that you can catch as many fish as you can when you're out there out on the water. So all right, fish lots, be sure to check that out. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you out there on the water.